Okay, we should be going live now. Okay, and we are live.
Great. And we're recording?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to call the meeting. This is the Education Commission special meeting on May 12th, 2020 at 1 p.m. Per the governor's executive order, this is done virtually using Zoom and broadcasted live on YouTube. There was a notification for public participation, which we'll address in a little bit. So if we can do the call to order / roll call.
Yes, thank you. Chair Gobea, Chair David Gobea.
Present.
Vice Chair Angel Zobo Rodriguez.
Present.
Commissioner Suzanne Nicole Llamas.
Present.
Suzanne N. Llamas.
Got it. Present.
Commissioner Nicole Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Olivia Robledo.
Present.
Wonderful. So we do have quorum. So we have a pledge of allegiance. So if you guys have a flag near you, but I'll just go ahead and read it off. Like, oh wow, very cool.
That's
okay,
so fancy.
So right hand, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was unique. Very cool. Awesome. So moving forward to the approval of the agenda. So you guys all were emailed the agenda yesterday, so it should be in front of you in your computer screen. If you guys just want to glance through it, and you put a motion forward to approve it.
I move we approve the agenda.
I second it.
Second, Olivia. And I believe we do roll call for everything. Susan?
Commissioner Olivia Robledo.
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Llamas.
Yes.
Vice Chair Angel Zobo Rodriguez.
Yes.
And Chair David Gobea.
Yes. So the agenda is approved. We'll move forward next to public statements. Staff, did we receive any public statements from any of the public?
We did not receive public statements.
Okay, great. We'll move forward then to our commission matters. So we have two commission matters today. Everyone, as you guys can see, we're going to be discussing our scholarship process, application, and awards ceremony, and discussing how we're going to approach that. And our second commission matter is going to be just kind of regarding the current crisis that we're in. So if we can try to keep each matter kind of germane to the topic, I think you can flow smoothly. Plus, I know we have a time limit in terms of the length of the meeting. So just making sure we understand brevity, but also getting the important information out there is super vital. So the first commission matter that we're discussing, agenda item 1, which is our scholarship process, application, and awards. Just for those watching or listening, and just kind of a quick review, this is our 5th year, I believe, Angels, 5th for the awards ceremony.
I believe this is 5.
Yeah, so we've done this for 5 years, and it's been a wonderful process that we've grown, we've expanded. Basically, we built it into a really, really special annual celebration of students and acknowledging their hard work and awarding them some money that they can use towards college expenses. Typically, what we would do is we would have an awards banquet in May, but due to the stay-at-home orders by LA County, we will no longer be allowed to have that. So in a little bit, we'll be discussing kind of how we can still acknowledge our students. But we do have the same process in terms of our award selection. Just quick rundown. Each commissioner was given several scholarships to read. Each commissioner or each scholarship was read by at least 2 commissioners. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to be comparing the scores today. So I'm going to have the vice chair discuss this a little bit more because due to the sensitive nature of some of the content of the essays, as well as about half of the students not wanting us to publicly display the information, we have some special procedures on that. So Vice Chair Rodriguez, if you can go ahead and discuss.
Certainly. We met over the weekend and kind of tried to parse how this was going to make the most sense while helping the students be anonymous, if you will. When we're discussing the scholarships, we're going to be giving out the top score, the total points given to the essay, focusing any comments on theme or structure. Did it address the prompt? Why you rated it that way, why you ranked it a certain way. We're going to try to stay away from more detailed information because some of the scholarships have a very small amount of applicants, and because the winners will later be published, at least the winners, the recipients, it wouldn't be hard to trace back some of the essays to some of the kids, and we want to be mindful of their privacy. So rather than what my suggestion was, the essay addressed the prompt with the theme of control rather than the student's experience with homelessness and caring for 3 siblings while their mother was sick really broke my heart. There are far more personal ones than that, so I try to use the most vague example I could come up with. But there's really personal parts of essays that we don't want to make kids feel unsafe or uncomfortable. In terms of our funding, we will need to determine how much of the funding we spend this year. Currently, we have about $9,700 total, and some of that's already allocated in specific scholarships. Last year, we awarded $5,000 total. So if we spend similarly, we'll have at least 1 more year in reserve. We can see what the ratings and rankings are and then make the cutoffs rather than say, okay, we're going to only allow 1 or 2. We may have 3 essays in one category that are stronger than 2 in a different category. And so we can be a little bit more comfortable with the line after we've ranked them, but we don't want to spend too much of the money because our ad hoc recommended that we aim to spending about $5,000. So we have something for next year. We know that there's another ad hoc that hopes to go out and collect, but right now, given the current nature of private businesses and just being out in public trying to collect, that may be difficult. Also, we definitely want to acknowledge the winners. We want to acknowledge them in as many ways as possible because the highlight of all of our work has always been the scholarship reception, where we were able to meet the students and talk to the students and share with their teachers, celebrate with them. So we want to make sure that we reach out to the local district, the board district, the school site, and use City of San Fernando social media and have them mentioned at a meeting. There will probably not be any in-person meetings anytime soon, and then the kids are going to theoretically be off to college or still at home under some kind of safer at home. So we're trying to be as celebratory as we can without causing any kind of conflicts to the rules that have been put out for us. So those are the recommendations.
So before we move forward and discuss the individual scholarships, thankfully Angel made a wonderful form that kind of goes over how much we have and what goes where. So we'll be looking at that in a second. But as it relates to the general idea, is there any question, comment that any of the other commissioners would like to comment on in relation to this matter?
My only question is,
Sorry.
my question is, we have the different scholarships and we have pockets of money in those scholarships. And then my understanding is we need to, for instance, if we find winners in a particular category, we got to use that money for that scholarship. We can't move money over from one scholarship to the other, correct?
Cynthia?
Sure. So if we have donations that are specifically donated, for example, let's say the Elias scholarship, then we are not able to route it to another scholarship because it already has been donated to a specific scholarship. But we do have an account number with extra funds that can go to any scholarship.
Any scholarship. Okay, so that's the money that can be moved around.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
And I do believe the bulk of the funding is flexible between Gabriel and Elias. But I know that, like the $500 that I gave and that other council members gave is specifically allocated towards certain scholarships. So most of the money is locked in, but there is a little bit of wiggle room if we see it necessary.
Okay.
Commissioner Llamas, you have a question or comment?
No, I just said I didn't have any questions.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Great. So, yeah, Cynthia, if you want to go ahead and maybe go over the form just so we can review what the scholarships are, the one that Angel made. So
Sure.
overview of it, and then we can just go scholarship by scholarship at your request.
Yes, I am just going to go ahead and share my entire screen to make it a bit easier. So first off, kind of want to review the budget with you all. It's extremely tiny, but going back to your question right here, for example, we have an account that is specific for the Gabriel Fernandez scholarship, and we have an account for Elias. So those can't move, although we have the various donations account, and this is where the ICFA money goes in. This is where all the donations go in, and then this is where you're able to move them around and assign them as you would like. So this is the budget, but Commissioner Zobel Rodriguez created another sheet. Now, would you like to do the grading first of the essays?
Let's review all of them, if that's okay. Just kind of the breakdown that Angel had, and then after that, we'll go one by one, and whichever is easiest for you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now, this is our form. Angel, if you would like to review it.
Yeah, I'm much more of a visual person than an audio person. So, and I'm not as fancy with Google Forms, but I'm pretty good with spreadsheets. So each of the columns is a different scholarship. So each of the columns is Republic or Paola, which is also the Why Not You. They're abbreviated a little bit so that the columns didn't go, horrendously long. The number of scholarships we're supposed to award, the amounts of the scholarships, any of the restrictions, the source of the money, how much is available to be allotted. And then I see that Cynthia has added numbers assigned. So we've got a little bit. Then if we go down farther, there's unassigned donations, which we don't have any. The remaining money from the California Latino Water Coalition, the remaining funding from the Independent Cities Financial Authority, and my stipend, which keeps going in there. I'm not committed to spending it this year. If we need to keep it for next year as a buffer, that's fine. If there's a question about bumping one up, we can use some of my stipend because that's what it's there for. So anyway, that's the form. We also have the little form for each of the individual scholarships as we go through. And hopefully this worksheet will make more sense as we're going, because as we're reading the Republic, there's only one winner for Republic, but there will be 4 for Paola. And when we get to Eli and we get to Gabriel, we don't know how many there will be until we decide based on the numbers. Some of the decisions are made for us because Republic says there's one. Because the money came from Councilmember Ballin and Chair Govea, that one has 4. Councilmember Pacheco created the 2 scholarships for $500 each, so those are 1 each. And like I said, then Eli and Gabriel are to be determined.
Commissioner Moore had a question.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. Sorry, I'm a little confused about why there's 0 in G7. Is that what you were meaning about, like that money would have to go from one to the other?
For the Gabriel Fernandez?
Yeah.
Right, because we don't have residual money and no money came in from that particular account.
But you're saying that's where we could use some of the unassigned funds if we wanted to.
Because in order to award anything in Gabriel at all, we will have to assign money.
Gotcha.
In order to award more than 1 or 2 in Eli, we will, but we have the $4,700 that is unallocated. So there's that.
I was just trying to make sure that's what we were saying.
Yeah. Republic gives us $1,000 for their scholarship. So that one's kind of one and done. That one's really kind of simple. If we want to start with one that will, you know, we get one done and we're successful because we finished it, that's the one that's kind of easy. But then they get a little more complicated because we have to rate them and then figure out how many recipients we can afford to give.
Are there any other questions from any of the commissioners in regards to the general breakdown, funding allocations? Cool. So our next step is going to be to move forward with going, I would say, scholarship by scholarship. Cynthia, does it work to go in this order? Or is there an order that you would prefer?
Yeah, that's fine. Whichever you would like.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe we'll start with Republic, since it was the first one on the left, and then we'll go from there. So at this point, Cynthia, you're requesting that we all have our grading sheet up, so we can just kind of read through it, or?
Yes. Maybe you could just one by one go for to start reviewing who got scholarships.
Okay, I have RS1 and total points are 8. Since I only had 1, I didn't necessarily rank it because I only have 1. So
I also have RS1 and my total points was 12. I ranked it number 2.
Anyone have RS2?
I have RS2. I gave it a total of 14 points. I only had 1. Or 1 essay, I should say, at the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And what else should I share?
Just the next.
Just the numbers, correct?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we're just doing the total and we're sticking with that. Anyone else have RS2? Okay. So do we want to see who that was assigned to, Cynthia? Because I actually only received 1 public service essay. So I'm hoping that it wasn't like lost in translation or anything.
If I may have to stop sharing my screen so that I could look at my.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so for this one, there are only 3 scholarships. So will I look for this? Would you like to start on the next one?
Okay.
You pick some
Want to do RS? Yeah, we can do RS3 if you like. So I was one of the RS3 graders. Can you multitask? Can you do both?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I was one of the RS3 graders. I gave it 17 total points and I ranked number 1.
I was the other RS3 grader. I gave it 19 total points and I ranked it as number 1.
So I see, Olivia, did you receive any Republic Services scholarships?
I did not read any.
You didn't receive any? Okay.
Yes, unfortunately, the drop boxes were deleted once they were downloaded. So I do not have a list of who got what scholarship. I'm trying to now access the files from internally.
Trying to think what other solutions we can have there, because we may have this in the future with one of the other scholarships as well.
Mm-hmm.
And my gut's telling me that we probably didn't assign someone to it.
Yeah.
It may have been overlooked, so I don't know if maybe we can assign it to really any of the commissioners, since Olivia didn't read any. If she can kind of read through it and then maybe move forward on it, we can discuss the scores for one of the other scholarships and go back to it.
Yes. If you would like, I could email you right now the spreadsheet so you can share your screen. And that way I am able to keep track on this end and not share students' private information.
Okay, so what are you suggesting right now? I'm sorry.
So I'm emailing you the spreadsheet so that you're able to share your screen and keep track of all the scores while I track down the other scholarships.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay. There we go. So I do have this. I'm going to put this out. Public master telling. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll move forward with the other ones. So our second, the Republic second. Angel, do you have your, since we're going in the order of the form that you created, do you have, what's after Republic? What's the second one? I'm sorry, you're muted right now. If you can say it again.
All right, sorry. The second one is Paola, why not you?
Okay, so Paula, why not you? So we'll do the master tally. Scholarships, why not you 1, 2, 3, and sorry, that was future entrepreneur. I'm sorry. There were shows there were 4 of them as well. I think there may have been some issues with copying it because it looks the same as the future entrepreneurs. So we'll do this one by one. So why not you one? Okay, reviewer one. There, okay, sorry. So we're doing the why not you, Paulo Mascoro. You guys can bring up your sheets.
Are you able to share the screen with us, or?
Oh, sorry.
I was able to track down the two commissioners that have RS2,
Okay.
and that would be Commissioner Robledo and Commissioner Yama.
Okay. So Olivia, I think you may have been assigned that. I'm not sure if it ever got attached to the Dropbox.
Okay, so I didn't receive one, and then I called to find out because I had the spreadsheet to put the numbers down on, right? And I called and I was told that I was not a reader for that scholarship. So I just didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you right now. My apologies.
Okay, so we'll go ahead. It's happening. I'll go ahead and we'll start the why not you, Paula. I'll share my screen. We can do here. Sorry. Okay. Great. Forward. Okay, so why not you won? I was one of the reviewers, but will the other reviewer go ahead and give me their score?
Okay, I also have why not you one. And on this one, in fact, I need help with this one. This one, the writing wasn't as strong as other candidates. However, I could see the need and the challenges that the student had. So even though my content was rated low, it was rated at 2, I feel this is a strong candidate for this Why Not You scholarship. So would I change my total points, or how would I work this?
You'd write your points based on the rubric, and then for the ranking, you would say that was your number one choice.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so then I'm going to give you my total points. And for RS1, total points were 7, but ranking is 1.
Okay. And Cynthia, do you want to take this over again since you're back, or do you want me to continue to do it?
Yeah, sure, I can do it. I just, if it happens again, it would just be another small pause, but I already have the file open, so I could easily do it.
Got it. Okay, so I'll stop sharing mine, and then if you want to go to yours. Cool. So why not you 7-1? Perfect. And then my why not you was I gave it total score 12 and ranking number 2.
For Why Not You number 2, I have total points of 9, and because I only had 1, I did not rank it, so leave the ranking blank.
And I had why not you 2 as well. Total points I gave 15 and ranking 1.
Now I'm just doing on the fly math, so if you catch something, please correct me.
Okay.
I had why not you 3, and the total was 20. I didn't have a ranking because I only read 1.
I had Why Not You 3, and the total points I gave it was 13. That was a second in ranking.
I believe that was all. Nobody else got any more why not use?
So great. So as you guys can see here, we actually had 4 scholarships allocated. The scholarships that are here are the ones, they've all been vetted, correct? All either residents of the city or attended schools locally? I'm sure, Cynthia. Oh, sorry.
Just 3. Yes, they're all San Fernando residents.
Okay. Since we had 4 scholarships available, there's really no reason why we need to discriminate. I mean, we had over, I believe, $1,000 in this category. If we gave $250 at each of them, that still gives us $250 for a future one if we wanted to do that. Anyone else have any ideas on how to award?
I'm in support of I didn't read any of these, but I think that this one more than any others, I think that a scholarship win for any of these students is can have a huge impact on their life and attitude towards academics in general. So I'm hugely in support of that idea.
I'm in agreement with that idea.
I'm in agreement with it as well. Chair Govea has donated money to this, as well as Councilmember Ballin, and they both feel very strongly about this category, about these students. And David, if you're comfortable with doing 3, I mean, in my head, I thought maybe do 2, but then you're leaving 1 out, and that could be the one student that we really need to support. And we'll still be pushing $250 to the future either way. So I'm supportive 3 winners.
So I think we're all in consensus here. I think we still need to vote on this. Cynthia, do you want us to do one large vote on all the scholarships, or would you prefer scholarship by scholarship?
It would just be the motion to approve the scholarships that were recommended by the commission.
Okay, so just at the end of all of it. Okay, great. So I think we came to that. If there's any challenges, disagreement with any of the future scholarships, just please discuss before we move forward. So scholarship amount, if you want to go ahead and put $250 for each of them.
Now, quick logistical question. If this,
Yes.
if one student applied to multiple scholarships, would you like me to bring that up, or is this the scholarship that they will be receiving?
I think bring it up personally, because if they are eligible for a higher award,
Then we just bump them from this, reserve more money for later, and they get a larger scholarship if they win something that's bigger. That makes sense to me.
great. And then did we email Olivia the RS2?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so great.
Now-
Go, sorry.
This was deleted through translation. Would we start it all over again? Points of finding.
Say it again.
My chart is blank, so I need to refill the whole thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can do it again. It's only a few.
Thank you.
For RS1, I had 8, and since I only had the 1, I didn't rank it.
I had 12. My ranking was 2.
I'm sorry. I had to go get some paper clips. Are we doing RS2?
Not column.
I'm sorry?
One sec. Cynthia,
No,
That-
this is Jen.
I know. Hold on. You put my 4 in RS2, Cynthia, and that's actually for RS1.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Cynthia.
Thank you.
Okay, for RS2, I gave it a 15. And I only have 1, so I didn't give it a ranking.
Okay.
I gave it an 18. I only read 1, no ranking.
I was RS3. I gave it a 17 and no rankings. It's my only one.
I had RS3 as well. I give it a 19 and my ranking was number 1.
All right. So it looks like the 3 has the most points.
Yeah, it looks based on this that RS3 is Definitely the one. And my score 17 probably should have been higher. It was so well written. The person seemed so experienced and actually knowledgeable in what the topic was related to. So I was very impressed with the name dropping that they did and some other things as well. Nicole, is there anything else you want to comment on that scholarship, since it looks like it's probably going to be our winner?
The ideas were very strong, and I was highly impressed with the strong command of language. Even I know we're only scoring this and compared to the ones submitted for this category, but out of them, it was one of the stronger ones I read total in terms of command of language.
I agree. It was, yeah, definitely one of the strongest. Does anyone want to advocate for one or two? Otherwise, I believe it seems like just based on raw numbers alone, it should be number 3.
No, I'm comfortable with, if you guys felt very strongly about yours, I'm very comfortable with you guys advocating for that essay.
Okay, great. So our winner then for the Republic Scholarships will be RS3, and then it'll be $1,000.
Now, which one would you like to do next?
Angel, order.
The next one is the one with the very long name. I have it abbreviated as Obama STEM, but it's Si Se Puede and several other things. So.
It's the ones that were BO though, right? Was the
Yes, BO, which is what I was trying to avoid saying. It's the BO essay.
I know. Sorry.
That's why we'll call the Obama essay. It's the STEM. It's first generation. This is the restrictions on this one are, this needs to be a first generation student hoping to go into a STEM field, a high school senior or college student, and again, resident or attended a San Fernando high school.
So we received 3 scholarships for this category.
I'm sorry, can we back up a little bit? Did you say that the BO has to be a first year college student or going
No.
college?
It's a first generation college student, the first student in their family to go to college.
Okay,
They are planning to go into a STEM field. It can be a high school senior or a current undergraduate college student.
okay, thank you.
All right,
There's
so
there's one recipient for $500.
Okay, I had, excuse me, BO1. I gave it a total points of 17, and I only read 1, so I didn't have a ranking.
I had BO1 as well. I gave it a total ranking of 13, and I did rank it as number 1.
Okay, I have BO2. I gave it a total of 18 points. And because I had 1, I did not rank it.
I also had BS2. I gave it 20 points.
No ranking?
It was the only one that I had.
I guess I'll jump in. I had BO3. I gave it a 10, and my ranking for that one was 2.
I had BO3, and originally I had scored it kind of low. However, the message that the student brought across was very, very, very strong. So then I gave them a 17. And even though I only had 1 and not ranking, this one I highly recommend to receive this scholarship.
Okay, so I believe that's all of them. So here we have 3 scholarships. It looks like BO2, just based on raw numbers alone, is the highest. Commissioner Llamas has a very strong recommendation for BS3. I'll go ahead and make the same argument for BS2 as well. I thought their career trajectory, the mastery of the language, the effort put forward into their story was extremely powerful. Like, this is probably, I think, one of the more emotional ones that I felt, and they had life experiences that connected to what their career trajectory was. And beyond that, I think they just had a really strong command of the prompt and of themselves. So I would advocate for BS2. Would anyone who the second reader on 3 or 2 like to comment so we can?
I like to comment. I think it's difficult. This being the first time I've done this, in order to advocate for this person, I really would have to read BO2 to see, to really compare. But I guess the process doesn't allow that to happen. So with that being said, the BS2 having the higher points, then I would have to, go along with group higher points. However, maybe next time we can look at the possibility of being able to look at all the entries for a certain scholarship. That way we can really compare. At least that's what I'm feeling right now.
The issue with us all reading all the essays is they become part of the Brown Act, and they would be published, and they would have to go out in the packets. So there would be no privacy, not for DACA students, not for students that are coming out, not for any of the very sensitive stories that the kids present.
Well, I will maybe try to put my little input, maybe be a deciding vote. I was underwhelmed by both of the essays I read in this topic. While I do agree with Commissioner Llamas's statement that the topic and the content was quite strong in BO number 2, the organization and mechanics were rather problematic. So
You mean BO you mean 3, right?
Yeah, for 3, sorry.
Okay.
Given that Chair Govea feels so passionately about number 2, and I am underwhelmed by both 1 and 3, I support going to the highest score.
I did read BO2, and I concur with what Chair Govea said in terms of, again, without getting into the story, that the STEM and the story align with the scholarship, and more importantly, as we're reading it, the 4 aspects that we are grading on is organization, mechanics, content, and language. And this one is a high school senior, and there will be other essays that we're discussing later that are college students that aren't this well put together. So I would like to, in this case, advocate for BO2.
So I think there's consensus here. BO2 will be receiving $500 for the STEM Barack Obama scholarship. Great. So yeah, we'll actually move forward, making good progress, guys. Our next one.
Next one will be the future entrepreneur. It's the FE.
Okay. So FE, and we received, I believe, was it 3 scholarships for this as well, Cynthia?
4.
4 scholarships, okay. So we'll get started. FE1.
I had FE1, my total points was 6, and my ranking was 2.
I had FE1 and my total points were 6 and my ranking was 3.
I have FE2. My score is 13. And because I only read 1, I have no ranking.
I have FE2. My total score was 16 and ranking was 2.
I have FE4. Total points is 11.5. No rank.
Hold on, we still have FE3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was one of the FE3 readers. It was total points 16, and it was my only one, so non-ranked.
I also had FE3, my total points was 18, and my rank was 1, and I feel passionately about this one. I liked it a lot.
FE4, Commissioner Llamas.
FE4, I ranked at 11.5. No ranking.
I had FE4. I gave it a total score of 20, ranking 1.
So,
so close.
yeah, no, so just to look purely based on the raw numbers, it seems FE 3 and 4 are closest. We have 2 people who feel strongly about 3, and that 20 score I'm really impressed by. So we'll actually start with FE 4. Councilmember Blow, can you explain perfect score? What?
Yes, yes. I thought that the person wrote about an idea of how to do something in our city, gave arguments and backed up those arguments with several very good points. I thought it was pretty well written. It wasn't perfect, but it was well written. And I just thought it was the best one out of the three that I read.
Okay, great. And Commissioner Yamas, you gave it half that score, or nearly half.
Mhm.
What underwhelmed you about it?
I think I was tougher on this one. I think about it had to do with the organization. However, what was strong for this essay was the way they were looking at our city and the needs of our city, and the research that they did historically about comparing our city to other places. But once again, I think the style was not as strong for me, even though they gave a lot of background about their history, their family, or their personal history. And I think it would have been stronger if they would have continued with the writing about the needs of our city and how it does relate to us as citizens. You know, it was stated, but I think it could have been stronger.
Okay. Commissioner Moore, you're one of the FE3 readers. I think I know why you're probably passionate about it. Do you want to share what you loved about it?
I'm trying to figure out how to do it without
Yeah. It's tough.
The essay was, at first I was a little bit like, oh gosh, just on the topic I was like, yeah, that's what we need, another one of this. But then as I got on reading, this person has really like thought very specifically out how to be unique in a rather a business that is somewhat ubiquitous in our area. However, they have attempted to be very unique in it and had so many wonderful details, and just I felt like the student took a healthy risk in what that they were attempting to propose. In terms of organization, I don't think it is. It seems like 3 and 4 organizationally are pretty similar. However, it wasn't really super specific to San Fernando the way that it sounds like Commissioner Robledo and Commissioner Yamas are saying number 4 is. So I would be okay actually with awarding the funds to number 4, but I loved the unique, it was just out of the box. I like out of the box thinking.
Yeah, no, I was the second reader, and I agree. It was very well developed in the sense that they obviously had a passion for the business that they want to do, as well as the content that's embedded within that business. And I thought just kind of the nuances of that were did they seriously have sat and thought about this probably for hours and hours. So that was apparent. But I'm with you. I like the fact that the focus here, of course, is our city. And if there was an entrepreneur who has an idea to invest locally in the city of San Fernando, I think awarding to that person probably would be better use of the funds. At least it connects. Vice chairs, since you don't have any skin in either of this, are you pulled one way or the other? Obviously, one has a higher score. One I think. Sorry.
I didn't read either one of them, so I can't be pulled either way, and I totally understand. Now I want to know what that business is that's ubiquitous to our community, because there's certainly plenty of them that I can think of. But at the same time, we can hope that they are students that agree to have their essays published afterwards, and we can share them then.
What I was just gonna ask is, do we have any way of knowing if 3 and 4 are anonymous?
They are not. You have permission to share their information.
Oh, so can we say?
I think so, right? I mean, if they give us permission, it's a box.
So our number 3 was about a Harry Potter themed bakery and cafe, and the student had gone to great extent to talk about different houses and ideas. It was like it would be obviously logistically complicated with licensing and whatnot, but their idea was very cute. Reminded me a lot of a place that did exist in LA that closed, but significantly better done.
Just to remind, I'm looking at the prompt right now. It says, if you were going to open a business, what would that business be? How would your business be different from your competitors? And in terms of the alignment, this essay definitely connects that. So they have a business, they have an idea, and they talked about the differentiation, which answered the prompt. Do you want to discuss either of you, Olivia? I guess because you have a higher score. You know what they were.
Yes, the idea was to put a theater and a performing arts center at the JCPenney building. And so I kind of liked actually that the person began with their love of the theater and how that came about, having been guided by the parents and how they had to leave the area always to be able to go see a play. So that was, to me, that was the argument for her idea or his idea of bringing an art center to the city. And some of you have been around for a while. This argument or this idea has come before the city council, I don't know how many times. And so here is a young person that again is seeing the same need. And I just thought that the essay was well written. The mechanics are great. You know, something I didn't see in a lot of the other essays that were written. So I think that, again, the person is thinking of how to revitalize the city and talks about, you know, the building being in the main district, you know, gives this good argument about bringing that center here to the city. So I thought that it had a lot of thought. It was reflective. And so I thought it was a great essay.
So you sold me on that. I
Yeah.
said the word to that one.
Same, I'm sold.
Okay, so I think we have a consensus here then. So we will be awarding $500 for the Future Entrepreneur Scholarship to FE4.
FE4, perfect.
Yes.
Now I have some information regarding RS3, our Republic Services winner. She was the student was the winner for a Paula Mascoro Why Not You Scholarship. We just award 2 scholarships in the Why Not You section instead of the 3 and award it to Republic Services instead.
I would give her $1,000 over $250. That's just, that's simple math.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll remove her from the Why Not You, and then she'll get 1,000, and then we'll have 500.
So now we're down to 2 winners for Paola,
Yep.
which leaves us with 500, but somebody won $1,000. So that's exciting.
Perfect. Now for
Eli.
we had Eli, we received 9.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start us off. ER1 gave 11 points, and I ranked it number 4.
I had ER1, I gave it 11 points. My ranking was 1.
Interesting.
I have ER2. I gave it 9. My ranking is 3.
I have ER2. My total points were 12. My ranking was 4.
I have ER3. My ranking is, or sorry, my points are 12 and my ranking is 2.
I have ER3. My total points was 16. My ranking was 3.
Okay, I have ER4. Total points are 13.5, ranking is 3.
0.5. My score for that one was 12 and my ranking was 1. But I want to point out it's an underwhelming 1.
Okay.
I have ER5. My total points are 6. My ranking is 3.
I have ER5. My total points are 8 and the ranking is 4.
I have ER6. My total points are 17, and my ranking was number 2.
I also had ER6. My total points was 3. My ranking was 2.
I have ER7. Total points 13. My ranking is 2.
I have ER7. My points are 16. My ranking is 2.
I have ER8. My total points are 16 and my ranking is 1.
We differed greatly in that one. My total points on that was 10 and my ranking was 3.
I had ER9. My total points were 19. My ranking
Sorry, what was your ranking?
number 1.
Thank you.
I have ER9. My total points are 17. My ranking is 1.
All right, fascinating results, guys. You have some tough graders. Get your scores here. As a teacher in the classroom right now, you have a lot of sad students. A lot of C's and D's. But just purely based on the number, obviously, it looks like number 9 probably will justify being awarded, being that it was the top for 2 of our commissioners. I'm really intrigued by a few of these, the ones with the largest ranges. First. Number 6, which is one of the one I read, I ranked it number 2. Commissioner Moore, you gave it 3 points. How is that even possible?
I didn't give it 3 points. I ranked it 3. What? Number 6?
Yeah, ER6.
13. That should be a 13.
13.
Oh, there
okay.
we go.
Okay, so now, yeah, there we go. All right.
Yeah, no, that. So what's the total score now?
That'll be 30.
I just went, that just catapulted up to the top.
Yeah, no, because I was just looking at with the categories alone, I think that our base point was 1. So if there are, 4 categories, 3.
I had a very hard time with that one because it felt like it was a relatively well-written essay. However, like in organization mechanics, it was relatively strong. However, I sort of felt like it didn't fully address the prompt. The prompt was about doing the right thing, and I couldn't find any spot specifically in it that was explicitly like about that. Like I sort of felt like maybe it was an essay that was written for something else that they were trying to adapt for this. So I struggled with that one in terms of there wasn't a good spot to score that. I was like, I guess it's content.
Yeah.
That it just didn't meet the prompt very well.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was well written. I agree with you on that. It was an interesting story how they used that one specific event to kind of connect with their prompt. So I thought it was a little loose connection, but I also thought, considering some of the other ones that I was reading, it was nice to read something that I was able to follow.
Yes.
And understand visually kind of what was going down. A few of you guys ranked low on some, but also, scored low and then ranked really high. I think we should maybe pull those out. And then from there we can decide on what we're going to award. So ER1, reviewer 2 gave it, as Olivia, 11 points, ranking number 1.
So all of them, three that I read were not well written at all. I'm just going to say that right off. I would read a sentence, it didn't make any sense. Mechanics were poor. So of the three that were not well written, I had to choose one. And so I think the idea, the ideas are great. And so give them credit for turning in an essay and for participating, and, so forth. But that's why it's one, because of the three. I felt I had to choose one, and so forth. So, but yeah.
So the
The
scores are more important
quality of the
necessarily than the
writing
ranking at
is
this one.
It's not very good, So that's my explanation.
Got it. No, thank you. And then I assume that's probably the same for ER4, 12 points, ranked number 1, second grade reviewer.
Yeah, I think that's me, right? Yeah. It was quite from an English teacher standpoint, it was not well written. However, when I was ranking it in terms of all three and they're addressing any of the prompts that we gave, it did more than the others to address the prompt. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. From the English perspective, there were problems. However, their topic or their content, you can see which they were passionate about it. And it was a matter of taking care of their students. And even with taking care of their students. And they gave lots of examples as to what they were experiencing and what can be done, even though there was an uneven argument.
I noticed that too, that the person started to drift, that
Yes.
there was a lot of focus on an idea that was a good idea. And in fact, I think the prompt specifically says one thing. And then all of a sudden it was like, all right, here we are all over the place in other things. So
Yes.
I would very much like to hear about what makes number 9 such a strong essay from those who read that one.
May I share something before you dig into this discussion? ER9 and ER7 have won scholarships in one of the 3 other categories.
Oh.
Okay.
So would you like to remove them from this category as they've already won for the other categories?
It would depend on whether it's Paola, because if it's Paola, then this would bump them up. But if it's Obama or the Entrepreneur or Republic, then it would be a wash and we can award more here.
One was for Barack Obama and the other was Republic Services.
Okay, well, first of all, since Republic is bigger, which one is that?
That would be ER9.
Okay, so take that one. They've already won, so they won a lot. So let's
every category apparently.
Okay, I know for a fact that there is at least one person that submitted in every single category except for the one that didn't fit for major. At least that's what she told me. So
probably that person.
It could be.
So if we're cutting out ER9, then that makes number 6 the next highest score.
And we're going to start getting into a little bit of clutter with some of the other ones. Do we want to think about reading Gabriel and ranking Gabriel before we decide how to cut up the scholarship money? So far, we have allotted $2,500. That's $1,000 for Republic, $500 for Paola, Obama, and the Entrepreneur. So that's $2,500. And if we're trying to stay around $5,000, we have about $2,000 to $2,500 left for these 2 categories. And rather than split between a 29 and a 30 or a 28 and a 29, we may want to look at the other category first, or we can do them.
I think that's a great suggestion. Just because again, this is we have the money, the sources on here are kind of exclusive to these 2, so I feel comfortable doing that. So unless there's any objections to it from any other.
So
I agree with Angel, I agree with Angel.
So, in this regard, Cynthia, just take out the 36, just white it out, remove it, delete it, however the spreadsheet term. And then that way we're not looking at that number, because that number keeps, my eye keeps going down to 36, like, oh, there's a 30, there's not a 36 anymore.
You know, I'm just gonna remove this whole line.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's not that that was not a wonderful essay, but they've already won. So
And as far as ER7,
which one is ER7?
ER7,
That was the Barack Obama, right? We felt pretty passionately about that one. So let's cross out.
So if we leave Barack Obama, then we can take out number 7 on this one.
Yeah.
Okay,
okay, so take off 7 as well.
take off 7 so that when we come back to this, we're not trying to remember this later. Because it seems to make perfect sense right now, but as soon as we go see the other one and come back to this one, it's gonna all be mud. Okay,
For Gabriel,
we are going to do Gabriel, and then we will decide how many spots we can divvy up with the money that we have left.
Gabriel, we received 17 submissions. And we have to just go in and.
Now, I only ranked down to 4. I did not rank all the way down to 17 on Gabriel.
Yeah, and Gabriel, I thought, I don't know if you guys said the same, but it seems like the Gabriel essays were just stronger overall.
Yes, based on scores, yes. As a comment on the Eli essays, it does feel like there were a lot of mechanical problems. I went back as you guys were talking about the disparity in scores. The mechanics on all of them, even my strongest one, the mechanics were the low score. So that was pulling a lot of them down, even if they did well with the content or even the organization. There was a lot of, I know in the past we've said it would benefit some of the applicants to have somebody read the essay before they submit it. Are we ready for, can we make that GF ID?
All right.
Because I'll get confused. For GF1, I gave it 11 points.
Wait. I have a question about this one. Isn't this the one that does not live in San Fernando?
Oh,
1.
Or that's what it says at the top of my paper.
GF1 does? My GF1 doesn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was GF3. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I have it on the top of the pile, and so I thought it was GF.
Okay. All right, for GF1, I rated it 11. I did not rank it because it's not in my top 4.
Okay, I gave it 15 points, and I gave it a ranking of 3.
Wait, this is not right. It's supposed to be 26. Number 2.
I have GF2. I gave it 17 points, and it wasn't in my top 4. So.
I gave it 7. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that rank was 4 or it wasn't on your top?
It wasn't ranked.
Okay.
Okay, I also gave it 17 and it was ranked as number 1.
So here it is, a 3 that is not in our city.
Yeah, so this student lives in another city and attends a school in another city.
So we know we don't have to cover the scores, correct?
If the student is not eligible.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and skip 3 since it's not even
I also scored that one, but let's skip it. Yeah.
Okay, GF4, I gave it 16 points and ranked it number 3.
and I gave it 18 points, and I also ranked it a third.
Five.
I saw also that this one probably doesn't live in the city. Should we skip it? Or am I wrong about that?
I put it on top of each paper.
Okay, so skip it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so GS6, I gave it 18 points, and it is currently not ranked actually.
I gave it 19 points, ranked it number 1.
For GF7, I gave it 16 points and ranked it second.
For GF7, I gave it 15 points and ranked it 4.
For GF8, I gave it 12 points, ranked it 5.
For GF8, I gave it 11.5 points and I ranked it 6.
For GF9, I gave it 10 points and I did not rank it.
I gave it 8 points and I ranked it number 4. But I only ranked it number 4 because I didn't rank the 2 that don't live in the city.
GF10, I gave it 18 points, and I ranked it number 4.
I gave it 12 points and ranked it number 3.
GF11, total score 17, ranking 4.
GF11, total points 17.
I'm sorry, your rank, you kind of chopped off for a little.
There wasn't any ranking on that.
Okay, thank you. GF12,
Oh, GF12, score of 12, no ranking.
GF12, I gave it a score of 15, ranking number 2.
GF13, total points 13, no ranking.
GF13, 18 points, ranking 2.
GF14, 19 points, ranking 2.
GF14 ranked at 15, ranking 6.
GF15, total points 17, ranking 3.
I gave that one a total points of 18 and I ranked it number 1.
GF16, I gave it 18 points and I ranked it number 4.
GF16, I gave it 19 points, and I ranked it number 1.
I'm so sorry, can you repeat your point?
Sure, it is 19 points, and I ranked it number 1.
GF 17, I gave it 18 points and ranked it number 1.
I gave that one 16 points and ranked it number 2.
Okay, let's look through this. Cynthia, can you move your cursor for a second? I just want to point out a couple of things, just to kind of show discrepancies. Like number 17 has a lower rank than number 16, but it was ranked number 1 and 2 for the commissioners. So that's why I think it's important to kind of have both, because this one obviously was strong. You know, considering the number of essays that we received, you guys both ranked in your top 2. So that's why we want to kind of take both into consideration. But do any of these stand out for you guys in particular to be clear winners that we show?
Number 6 and number 16 have the same ranking one. Is that correct? Or, oh, I see. I'm looking at the wrong number, but they have the same total score is what it is.
And it was somebody's number 1. It was somebody's number 1, but it was also somebody not, it was somebody that didn't rank.
Yeah, somebody didn't rank.
Cynthia, can you make this a little easier? Are there any of these
Okay.
higher, any of them that are, say, 30 and above? Are they either Republic, Obama, Entrepreneur, or Paola?
GF 15 is a Republic winner.
Okay, Republic did very well. All right, so since that's $1,000, are we okay taking out 15?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other one is GF 13. GF 13 is a Barack Obama winner.
All right. I would say, you know, what's not one of the top, is it? Yeah. Let's take that out as well,
13?
if that's okay with us.
I'm okay.
Okay. And then the other 2 that were not eligible, 3 and 4, or 3 and 5.
So it looks like 16 and 6 are the highest scores as of right now.
Yeah, we have 16, we have 6. I like number 17, just purely off of number 1 and 2. And then obviously that leaves, if you're doing 34s, number 4 and 11 as well. But 11, I'm less impressed by. So I really feel 17 was just graded a little bit harder. In terms of its score, the fact that it's ranked so highly, I'm wondering, you know, what makes that one so special.
It was very short. I know it said 500 to 1,000 words. And the word count on it was 485. And the organization was a bit tough, although the content was very compelling.
You also want to comment on 17 as well?
I can agree with the brevity. In previous years, we weren't even given them if they didn't go to 500 words. So I did not notice that it was under the 500 word max. I do feel that it addressed the topic. This was one of the transition to adulthood and dealt with issues of control. I have 16 and 17. So I ranked them the way that I did. I know that when I read 16, I could have sworn that 16 was a previous winner from a couple of years ago based on the writing style. And if it's not, it's not.
Okay. So you liked it. It's more of just you have an assumption that it was a previous winner?
They have, I gave them exactly the same score. I gave them 18, but based on,
You are correct. This person was a previous winner.
that's what I was going to guess. The writing style stands out to me so much. I won't say it publicly, but I literally could pull the essay out of I can almost quote an essay from 2 years ago that was written very similarly. The style for 16 is so beautiful, so descriptive, so narrative. It just screams to me to be a previous winner from a couple of years ago.
Can we just acknowledge Angel's amazing gift to read essays for multiple years and understand this person purely based on their writing style?
It might not be the same person. It just happens to be a repeat winner, but it's
pretty exceptional.
The style is uncanny.
It's a gift.
He had confirmed that you got that right. Yeah, someone who also reads a lot of essays. That's pretty impressive.
Okay, English major. Sorry.
Well, and credit to the student who wrote it, because
as I was reading it, 16 is phenomenal. It is fantastic, and hopefully, it's one of the ones that allows us to talk about it, at a different time or show it at however. But if they are a previous winner, then they are not eligible.
Nope. We put that explicitly on the form this time around, so they may be.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I thought that those were being removed from us, that we weren't seeing repeat winners.
Okay, so that puts number 6 really quite in the high running. So I would really like to hear passionate responses from anybody who read number 6.
Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I gave it a high score. I think I was an easier grader this time around. So that's why it was ranked 5th on mine. So I wasn't particularly thrilled by it. I just thought it was well written. I think maybe I was a little bit more critical because the student is a college student. So the writing definitely, I think, was more aligned with that. Personally, I felt like the response was a little bit more generic. I don't know exactly which prompt they addressed, but I remember just not being fully enthralled by that. I was impressed by the writing, I was impressed by the quality, grammar, all that. But it didn't really connect with me just on a personal level, which is why I didn't rank it.
So I was the reader for number 6 also. I thought that the essay, because the essay was about the maturity and the transition from childhood to adulthood. The person gave a specific event. So, and then explained how that event changed, the person used the term mindset, and then went on from there to develop how that change of mindset changed the way that she mentally thought of her timeline for her life, and some of the accomplishments that had taken place after that, and but pinpoints that moment of that special event as a turning point, and she very vividly described that one event, and then went on to talk about how becoming this adult also, she realized she was a role model for others in her family, and mentions the university that she's attending, and the path that she wants to develop in her life. So I thought that she put a lot of thought into it. It was very well written. It had an intro, body, and a conclusion. It was just well organized, and you could identify these different parts of the essay. And we don't always get essays like that. So I was very impressed with it.
We see 37 rank 1. We see another 37 rank 1. We see a 34 rank 1. I think just looking purely off like kind of creating a consistent formula, there's 3 of them seem like they can be clear winners because they reached the 34-point threshold, plus they're either ranked 1 or 2 by one of the commissioners. So in my mind, the way I'm envisioning how to give off the remaining $2,500, I'm thinking we can keep it consistent with maybe $500 per for 3 of them, and then 2 for the Gabriel Fernandez. I'm sorry, for the Elias Rodriguez at 500.
Are either of these doubles? I'm wondering. Can you tell us if either of the top 2 that Chair Govea is referring to also were top ones for the Elias Rodriguez?
So I'm going to write down the numbers right now, send comments so you can see. So GF6 was one of them. If we can check on them, we're going to do.
Not a previous one.
Okay, there was GF. Was it 17?
Not a previous winner.
Great, and I believe GF16 was excluded because that was the previous winner. That was the beautiful writing style, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
16.
So then there leaves the 34-point would be GF11.
The student is also eligible. Now, GF2 also has a 34.
Oh yeah, GF2. Have they won anything? 'Cause that's actually higher.
So does GF4, but I'm also wondering if any of these also entered the Elias Rodriguez.
GF4 as well.
Let's look up GF4,
Okay.
and GF2.
GF6 also entered Elias. And that is the only one.
Okay. I mean, if we award GF6 here or in Elias, do we know if GF6 scored highly on Elias?
This person was also ER6. The highest score, I believe. Yeah.
So I guess we could use that logic to make person 6 win the Elias Rodriguez since it's the highest there, and then that softens the pool to those other 4 for Gabriel.
So I like it. So let's go ahead.
I'm really puzzled because the ER6 was very poorly written. It's not, doesn't seem like it could be the same person unless somebody else wrote the essay for them. I don't know.
One of the things that I suspect happened, because as Chair Govea said, I have no evidence to back this up, but as Chair Govea pointed out that the Gabriel Fernandez scholarships were significantly better written. I kind of suspect that maybe the Gabriel Fernandez one was an assignment that a teacher gave and then had them polish in class. So that might have been the one that was proofread and polished, and then they also decided to enter the Elias Rodriguez and just didn't polish it. But
Well, that would explain it.
Yeah, and they also scored the highest. So even though it wasn't well written, it's still the highest number ranked in ER. So it's the only one that has 30 points. So I think we're kind of getting at maybe the feeling is that we should look at Eli and award ER6. Are we comfortable doing $500 awards for each of them just to kind of make it clean? That can give us 2,500 more bucks between ER or the Elias Rodriguez and Gabriel.
Elias already has $550 that has rolled over from previous years.
Okay.
That's in there already.
Do we want to clean it up and do a 550?
And we can.
or a 300, or do a 500 and 250?
There's also, I mean, one of the things that I would definitely look at is Elias had fewer applicants, like significantly fewer applicants than Gabriel. So if we have to go one deeper or two deeper in Gabriel, I'm okay with that too.
Okay. So we have 550, and then we have the remaining funds.
If we put $1,000 of unassigned funds into Eli, that gives us 1,500 or 1,550. And then we put 1,500 into Gabriel, then that would make the amounts even to divide up.
How much would that give us for next year?
That's a little bit tighter.
That's why I'm saying let's do 1,000 for Eli. Just one, they're not well written, so
Okay, that's fine. So then we if we're going to make that $1,000, we're going to move $450 over. There's $1,000 to Eli. How many places do you want to go? Because the prompt said the application said $250 to $500. So if there's one that we feel strongly about, we can do 500 and do additional ones at 250, which means we can go a little deeper. Or we do 500 each because we all know what books cost. And 250 can be your physics book or your chem book. Does anybody have any opinions?
So we would be looking at awarding number 6 because it has a score of 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we know that you can write when given the opportunity.
Right. And I thought it wasn't that poorly written. And it was, of the 3 I got, it was the better written. But so then so the second one would be number 3?
I say the scores are so close, and again, there's such low scores. I would say let's do 250 per. So we'll give 500 Eli to ER6 and 250 to ER3 and 250 to ER8.
All right. I'm okay with that. If you guys are okay with that. Oh, she's doing it in the thing. I don't have to try to keep it. I would keep track on the paper too.
Cynthia, it's in the wrong column. You have it in our ranking? Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, this seems fair to me. Again, one person's getting awarded a good chunk. They applied twice, they got one, and the other ones, again, if they would have taken more time, maybe we would have made an effort to give them more money.
Adding 450 for that. Okay.
The fact that these scores are pretty consistent across, between both graders shows that there's a lot of room for improvement. So if you're watching, students, please pay attention. You could have got more money if you wrote better.
Have somebody read it. Have your mom read it.
Yeah.
Have your grandmother read it. Have your neighbor read it.
Okay. You feel comfortable with this, Commission?
I'm comfortable with it because if we had 8, that's better than 1 in 3.
Yeah.
I
didn't love ER8 to be honest, but I saw that whoever the first one was ranked it their number 1. So I'm a stickler to prompts. I'm sorry. It's the person in me that I guess I feel like I've been conditioned to teach students to answer AP questions for so many years that I was just like, it doesn't address the prompt specifically, but maybe I just had a very rigid interpretation of the prompt. So, but somebody said it was number 1. So let's do it.
Cool. Sounds good. No objections. All right. So we're going to secure this for Eli, and we're going to finish off with Gabriel.
So now so the only one on Gabriel was Gabriel Fernandez 6. So now of those 4, we are going to cut those down, or we're going to try to give it to all of them.
We can take 16 is the one we can take out. So we don't have to look at that number anymore.
Right. So, but we have 4 now left of the ones that Chair Govea identified as being above 34. It's 17, 11, 4, and 2. So we could give them 250 each, or we could just go with the top 2, or.
Well, what was the issue with GF6 again? I'm sorry.
That's the person we just gave.
The Elias winner now.
Got it. Okay, so that's good. So yeah, the 4 left. I mean, we have 3 winners. We can keep it 3, $500 each, because again, all these are pretty well written. And that gives us 1,500. If we put
Didn't meet the word count.
see, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. And because it's 500 to 1,000, it's one of those specific things. Although it's well written, you guys ranked it high. I don't feel as comfortable giving money to that because.
I'm fine with that. Like I said, I know in previous years, we didn't even see the ones that were under, or I actually ran them through word count myself if I thought they were really short, but that one was close.
I'm just hitting word count for the whole thing. Actually, if I highlight just the prompt, so actually, no, it's only 450 words because
I'm okay. I'm okay with losing 17.
so then that would allow us to equally divide $1,500 between 2, 4, and 11.
Sounds like what we're doing. Any objections to that? Nope. All right. So Cynthia, we're going to be allotting $500 scholarship award to GF2. Thank you so much for your doing, Cynthia. You're handling like 4 different documents and stuff like that. I'm very impressed with your ability to
I was going to
multitask.
say this is really difficult when we're in the when we're in the community room and we're all correcting her over her shoulder on a giant screen above her head. This is a whole nother thing on a tiny little screen, and we're all cutting in and out on the audio.
Great. All right, everyone. So what we're going to do is we have our scholarship amounts. We are all here. We all were in consensus. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put a motion forward to approve the scholarship amounts for the ones that have been recorded through our discussion. Can I get a second?
I second it.
Okay, great. And I think this is a roll call. So
Thank you. Oh, hundreds of papers on here. Okay. Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Llamas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Angel Zobo Rodriguez,
Yes.
and Chair David Gouveia.
yes. Great. All right, so the motion passes unanimously. So we have 20 minutes, commissioners, and there's 2 things we need to discuss. So to finish off commission matter number 1, how are we going to acknowledge our students and our winners? And then our commission item number 2, I tossed on there. We can table that for a future special meeting if desired. So let's go and focus on part 1. So any suggestions on what we can do to make this special for our scholarship recipients, since we will not be having a scholarship banquet?
Open, are you going to call us in order?
We can, if we'll start with, we'll go ahead, Vice Chair Rodriguez.
I would definitely reach out to the schools involved and make sure, because they are already working online, they're already working with the kids, and I'm assuming that for the students that are, say, at ACE or social justice, they've already asked if their kids have won yet, and I said, we're working on the meeting, we're getting there, we have to figure this out. So I would want to make sure that they're able to be part of anything we do. I have no problem reaching out on social media or contacting the principals or administrators at those 2 schools or anywhere else to let them know. I had thrown out there to make sure it's on the City of San Fernando social media, the local district social media. You know, we're not going to be able to do the scholarship reception, but we should be able to ask them for pictures. If they give us a picture, we can do a little blurb, just like the blurbs they're doing for the COVID stuff for the city social media. You know, other than that, I'm definitely open to any other ideas anybody might have.
We'll do Commissioner Robledo.
Yes. I don't know how I imagine they're going to be sent the check in the mail. I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen, but I'm just throwing out the idea. My mind always goes to maybe a delivery of a small floral bouquet, but then I thought maybe something in our city where like the cupcake place, or I don't know, something. I think of candy, just a little something. And since we're not going to be spending money on the reception, I don't know how many winners we have, and I don't know what the cost would be to do something like this, but just something that they could celebrate with their family in their home.
Olivia, I think there's 11. It's not a tremendous amount. I like the idea. We have to socially distant delivery system,
Right.
but I'm sure that could be arranged. That can definitely be arranged.
Is this something the ad hoc would be working on together?
Yes.
Well, I could definitely assist them, just that way we don't need to have another meeting to approve.
Yeah, I would suggest that we spin this off an ad hoc. If it's not the current scholarship ad hoc, if someone else wants to ad hoc and be the publishers clearinghouse knocking at the doors, we're not going to have.
I'm sorry, Angel, but some of the establishments in our city, they deliver also. So it could be, coming from the establishment. I'm not sure which ones, but I'm thinking.
I do know that. I put together the restaurant directory.
Okay, there you go.
Right, and I do know that Sweetness is delivering. I know that for a fact.
As is Ucrave.
So yeah, we'll go ahead. My vision for this is that we'll kind of gather the ideas, and the ad hoc will kind of move forward on all of this, since we have approved the scholarships itself. That's kind of like the heavy lifting, and the rest of it could just be nice mementos and things like that. I believe if there is any budgetary items or any spending that doesn't need to be approved by the full commission. So that's my only concern, is if we do decide to spend money on things, we need to approve that. So I'd have to make another motion to either do it now, or we'd have to have another one of these meetings together. So we'll go and hear some other ideas. So Commissioner Moore, thoughts?
I had 3 things written down. Sorry, 4 actually, looking at the notes that I believe it was, I guess Cynthia emailed it, but I don't remember who put it together. But in the notes, I love the idea of making sure that we communicate this information to Kelly Gona's office. I think that Councilmember Gomez would probably put it on all of her social media and everything like that. I know that she's been posting college signing day stuff, so I do love that idea. I also love the idea of, I had written down something similar about a way for them to celebrate with their families. I initially was thinking like, dinner, because if we were normally going to do a big scholarship dinner, could we at least afford to send dinner to each of their families from a local restaurant? And the ones that came to mind in my mind was Ucrave, because it is, they do deliver, and as well as I know El Abuelo delivers and is local. I could pull that directory up in a minute though, but I'm pretty sure those are 2 I thought of. But then I love Olivia's idea about Sweetness. I do know Sweetness Cakes delivers as well, and it might be fun to have Cynthia be able to contact the students and ask for their favorite colors, flavors, icings, and be able to ask their families to send a photo of them and their cake with them celebrating. So, and I'm sure that Sweetness would appreciate being able to do that. And I also am hoping maybe Cynthia can get a list out of the winners, because obviously they're all anonymous to us right now. They're just numbers. But if she could get a list of winners out soon to schools, I do think it's really important that schools be able to put it on their websites and things as well. So those were my 4. Oh, sorry. My last one is that could we contact the winners themselves to ask for a senior portrait if they're a senior, or just a photo to go out on Instagram, because that's what I know their peers are most likely to see. Maybe do an Insta story once a day over the next week or so of something nice showing their name as winners. But I would like the idea of voting on some money to spend on sending them a treat.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking at the end of our comment section, we'll go ahead and kind of give the ability for the ad hoc committee to make that decision. I'm thinking Sweetness probably sounds like the best idea also. Commissioner Llamas, do you have any input?
I think all of the ideas above are great ideas. The social media is really strong. I like the personalization of the special treat, and definitely contacting the school so that way it can go out in their in the media, whichever way the schools send them out. I also like the idea of the senior portrait, so that way it can go along with whatever we put in social media. So they are all great ideas. If we could
Okay.
spend some money on that, that'd be awesome.
Okay, great. So what I'm hearing, and I'll work with Angel, because I think we'll just keep the commission or the ad because of the ease and the relationships already with the administrators. What we'll do is we'll get the information, we'll get photos, and we'll try to do kind of an online presence. I know Kelly Gomez's office is a really great job honoring some of the class of 2020 with some postings daily that she's doing. So maybe we'll do something kind of similar or comparable where we'll acknowledge our scholarship winners. And even if they're willing to, we can connect with the scholarship essays themselves to give maybe some of the city, the rest of it, an opportunity to kind of see some of our winners. And then second is we'll look at an opportunity to give them like a cupcake or some kind of sweet to just award them for what they have done. So in order to do that, I'll have to put a motion forward. But before that, I'll go ahead and take Commissioner Moore's comment.
Sorry, just last thing that I thought of that as on your ad hoc you could hopefully do, but it would need to be fairly quickly. I just remembered that ABC is taking submissions up until May 16th to go on television.
Cool.
It is, there's, I'll have to find the link and I will send it to Cynthia to send to you, but it has to be submitted by, oh gosh, I think it's the 16th, but they're doing a TV special, like Barack Obama is going to give a speech and stuff. And they were asking for like photos or stories, you know, this person won an essay or something, or won a scholarship essay contest would be perfect. So I'll send that as well.
Great. Thank you.
Going along with that, gave me the idea that we have a Spectrum platform for our television, and they do interest stories in the community. And so it's not the same kind of news that you see on other big broadcast news. So they may be interested in, televising or doing a short story on the scholarship and City of San Fernando and our commission doing this annually. I don't personally have information or who to call, but I have a friend that does. So I could get that information for you, give it to Cynthia, and she could give it to the ad hoc committee. And so that's Spectrum.
Cool. Awesome. So what I'm going to do right now, Commissioner, is I'm going to go ahead and put another motion forward to give the ad hoc committee the ability to spend towards some kind of acknowledgement for our scholarship winners, i.e. sweetness, or if there's something else that comes to mind. Can I get a second for that?
I second it.
Okay, second by Commissioner Arbello. And so we'll do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne Nyama,
Yes.
Vice Chair Angel Zobo Rodriguez,
Yes.
Chair David Dovia.
Yes. Great. Awesome, guys. So that's going to conclude commission matter number 1. Commission matter number 2, we're not going to have time for full discussion, but so I'm going to request a table or permission to table it. But I do want to know, is there interest in having maybe another commission meeting? If possible, we'd have to double check with the city manager in regards to just COVID support for our students, kind of going over resources, availability of resources, things like that. I just want to kind of get a gauge since our first time coming together in relation to that. Would there be interest in having another meeting at some point throughout the next month to discuss those items further?
And the next regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 26th, in 2 weeks.
Okay, so we can kind of shoot for that. Is there any availability issues or any interest in that, or do you think it's not necessary?
Do we have to request permission to have our regular meeting via Zoom? Because I know at one point there had been a city council motion to cancel all of them unless there was something pressing, but this is pressing.
We'll get
so
that
that-
information for you. I will find out.
Right. Yeah, I think we have to double check with the city manager to confirm whether that, but to me, it seems like it's a pressing issue. And the fact that our schools have been closed and will continue to be closed throughout the summer, and we're city leaders in relation to educational stuff, it's important for us to meet. Obviously, this was a time sensitive thing with our scholarships, but that's if we can. Is there interest? So, Olivia, are you interested in having a meeting, normal meeting time?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, if there is something we
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What kind of, what direction or what possibilities are you thinking of that where we would be able to help?
Collection of resources and understanding of what's available out there for our students and for our families. And then
Okay, so it's resource collection, and then once we collect these resources, then what would we put it on the website, or how would we disperse these?
we'd have to discuss that. We'd have to discuss that further. But this is mainly just to gauge the interest for the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Also reach out to the city manager to see where the city may need help and where the Education Commission can get involved and get that information.
I think it is important because our city's schools are an interesting mix of public, private, and charter, probably more so than anywhere else in LA. There's very few other communities with quite as much public, private, charter diversity. And all charters have taken their own route, all privates have taken their own route, and then there is the LAUSD policies. And so I think that it would be valid to be able to create some sort of community resource that if one were to live in San Fernando, you'd even at least be able to go to and figure that out. So I think it's valid.
Okay. So I'm hearing consensus. So I'll go ahead and put a motion for permission to table the agenda item number 2 for our future regular meeting held at the end of May. Can I get a second?
Second.
Great. And then roll call.
Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Yemas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Angel Zobo Rodriguez,
Yes.
and Chair David Gouveia.
Yes. So Cynthia, that means if we can just check with the city manager to confirm we're okay with that. I'm assuming we'll be able to. So we'll plan on meeting for our regular last Tuesday at 6 p.m. Unless there's obviously issues that can arise before that. So great. So moving on, we are wrapping it up. We have our general commissioner comments. No. Great. Staff communication.
I actually do have
I'm
one.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I
Go ahead. I will be back. Go ahead.
I thought you were going to call on each commissioner, but I just want to take a moment to thank Cynthia for all her work. And I know I had to call her several times for assistance. And so I do want to thank her. And thank you, Angel, for putting together that spreadsheet. Would you be willing to share the budget spreadsheet that you did? Made a lot of, I'm visual also, so that made a lot of sense to me, and it really helped me to see the numbers a little bit better. So if you wouldn't mind sharing it with Cynthia.
I can share that. I can share it.
That would be great. And I just want to say that I'm proud to be part of this commission. I didn't know how this was going to go, and I was very kind of anxious about it because I know how in past years we've really, taken a lot of time and a lot of discussion, and so I just didn't know. But I feel very good about the process, and I feel like everybody had a chance to give their 2 cents. Thank you, David, for guiding us through the meeting. So I just want to say thank you.
We get it done here at the Education Commission. Any other commissioner comments before we go into our staff communication?
I'd like to piggyback on Olivia's comments. It's been a new experience. It was very interesting. I can see that when you do this kind of work, we really have to be open and listen to the other ideas. There was a lot of respect exhibited during these conversations. So I just want to thank you. Thank you for this. And yes, and like Olivia, I'm proud to be part of this process also.
Great. Thank you, guys. All right, moving forward, staff communication. I see we have a new friend.
We got a 2-shot.
Well, hello. I am the new city clerk. My name is Julia Fritz, and I am looking forward to working with all of you. The passion, I'm listening to the meeting. I didn't listen to all 2.5 hours, but the passion that all of you have is just amazing. It really is amazing. It really shows through all the work you put through this. So I thank you for that, and hopefully we'll be able to meet in person.
Thank you.
Welcome to the city of San Fernando. Nice to have you here.
Welcome.
Thank you. And Cynthia is a gem, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Great. Any more staff communication, Cynthia?
That is all.
All right. All right. So I'd like to go ahead and put a motion forward to adjourn our special meeting.
I'll second.
All right. Who wants to close it out?
Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes, sorry, yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Yema,
Yes.
Vice Chair Angel Bebe Rodriguez,
Yes.
and Chair David Gouveia.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. We said 3 o'clock, right?
3
Yes.
o'clock. You got about 45 seconds. You're good. Good job.
Cool. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you at the end of the month.
Bye.
Thank
take care.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Angel, I
Thank
missed
you.
not having the goodies.
You know what? Zoe made red velvet cake and I feel really bad because that's like my role and I can't bring